thank you for coming to my clickbait. My name is Emotional John, and I am an invader. I invade people. I invade them, and I kill them. If you hate being invaded, if you hate being killed, then this video is for you. If you are like me and do not hate those things, then this video is also for you, but in a much less direct way. Let us begin. I want to start by saying invasions in Elden Ring could and should be much better. They are, in many ways, a downgrade from what previous games offered. Chief among these downgrades are the lack of 6-player invasions, the lack of covenants, and the lack of forced invasion zones. The opportunities and incentives to invade have been severely diminished, leaving only the same stale 2v1 and 3v1 encounters over and over and over. Even the seldom seen 2v2 is a shadow of what the game could offer. In addition, the multiplayer has steadily dwindled since release, leaving fewer and fewer opportunities to invade at all. The game is in decline. But one last opportunity remains. Elden Ring is well over 2 years old and the DLC is fast approaching. The game will soon take its final form. A final form that will revitalize the player base for one last hurrah. And while the DLC shows no signs of improvement for any aspect of the multiplayer, it will still bear fruit. New weapons, new skills, and new levels to play with. Toys ideal for invaders. So if you, dear viewer, are the sort of person who hates invasions and hates invaders, this may be your last chance to experience invasions as they are, to know what it's like to invade before Shadow of the Erdtree irrevocably changes the game. My appeal is to those of you who have never taken any interest in PvP or invasions for whatever reason. Especially if you are someone who, as is often represented in my comments section, believes invaders have a near certain chance of victory because of their superior skill or equipment or whatever else. I believe if you believe any part of what I'm suggesting, that you owe it to yourself to try it for yourself. Make a character, use an existing build, exploit any strategy you wish, just try invading. Gain the perspective necessary to accurately critique, criticize, and appreciate what invasions are like from the other side. I think you might be surprised. I have invaded on and off since Elden Ring's release and for many years prior. In my experience, I have found it to be an extremely mixed bag. Sometimes it's an absolute blast, fighting tooth and nail to pull off a win under the most adverse conditions. Other times, it's an absolute piece of shit. When you invade a 3-person gank run poking with bleed and frost and spell spamming from a mile away, it can feel like there's no reason to even try. Even if you can turn the tables, I've generally had little interest in the counterplay of meta-level invasions. Instead, I've spent most of my time in low-level invasions. Low-level play is something I've always appreciated for a number of reasons, but even it isn't perfect. I don't particularly enjoy fighting players who only have starting gear and clearly have no idea how to play. Not because I don't think they deserve to be invaded. Everyone deserves to be invaded. But because it seldom makes for a good fight. So to remedy my issue, I've embarked on a new character building challenge. I have made a character using only Limgrave gear and upgrades. I am fighting on par with the presumed characters progressing through the game normally. My healing flasks are limited, my tools are few. My damage output is modest, and I have only 2 talisman slots. By all mechanical measures, it is a fair invader. But the invasions on which I embark are rarely reciprocating. I am often met with overleveled phantoms, twin toasts, and extreme hostility with no regard or recognition of my gesture. And I am glad for the experience. For as often as it makes me annoyed, for as frequently as I am pained by loss after loss at the hands of my ill-prepared build, I relish the challenge and I take great pleasure in my victories. And no matter what they do to me, invasions don't need to be, shouldn't be, and can't be fair by any true standard. Fairness, as my ongoing series explores, is relative. Not to say playing on a twink or other more prepared build isn't fair or fun, because it is. I just want to highlight that there are multiple ways to invade. The chances that there's an invasion style out there for you are practically guaranteed. So do it. Go out and invade. Give it a shot before the DLC changes it. Familiarize yourself with a mechanic you've never fully embraced and maybe have never truly understood. And if you've tried invasions before and hated them, try them again. Try at a different bracket or try a different build. Step out of your comfort zone and embrace a new experience. Don't be afraid to use a supposedly OP weapon or skill. I avoided using Moonveil for the longest time because I hated being on the receiving end of 2 or 3 ganking spammers, but on my level 200 Sorcerer, Moonveil is a ton of fun to invade with. I was actively denying myself something because of the perceived unfairness. But that's what invasions are all about. As an invader, it's about gaining advantages wherever or however you can and using them to win with so many odds stacked against you. And as a host, it's about playing through the game with your friends and being ready for whatever a random invader can throw at you. It's the ultimate test of preparedness, and it's worth every ounce of frustration it brings. Invasions are a uniquely Souls mechanic and something that you'll find people ride or die for. But From Software hasn't given them the same attention they once received. Elden Ring may be the last game to feature invasions as we know them. Once Shadow of the Erdtree releases, there is a very real chance that we will never get another game and therefore another opportunity to experience active, bustling invasions. Even if we do get invasions again in future titles, those are years away and there's no telling how they'll function. Many in the community advocate for their removal entirely, and as much as I wish it weren't realistic, I fear invasions might be coming to an end. I can't predict the future, so I don't know what will happen, but I do know capitalism. Games that sell well and get positive reviews tend to lean into their broadest appeals. From Software is a developer I associate with strong integrity, but they are beholden to the forces of profit. If they think their games will make significantly more money by removing or further diminishing invasions, they may not be able to resist. Not because they don't consider their work art, but because capitalism is antithetical to art. Games, however artistic, must be a product first, and that makes me worry for invasions. I don't want Elden Ring 2 to become a live service microtransaction hellhole. Diablo used to be a good series, but the need for profit ruins these things. Invasions are the only competitive multiplayer in the modern era that allows you to play as much as you want with no additional costs or gimmicks. It's an infinite game for a fair price. So please, don't let your existing biases or apprehensions stop you from playing the most inventive game mode of the last 15 years. Don't look back and wonder how it was. Remember. Trust me when I say invasions can be the absolute best thing any game has to offer. Nothing even comes close. In no other game series can you play entirely alone, build a character just the way you like, and then take that character and shove it down someone's throat. It sounds mean, and it certainly can be, but it is so much more than simple aggression. It's a martial art. Sure, you can use your power to attack, but you can also use it to defend. Invasions are a two-sided game, and each is just as important as the other. Invaders and cooperators need each other to make the game more than it could ever be otherwise. And trust me when I say this is something everyone can enjoy. They aren't easy. In fact, they might be the hardest content the game has to offer, but they have merit at every level of play. Just because you're bad at invading or being invaded doesn't mean you have to stay that way. You just need more practice. You just need to get good. And I don't mean that to be derogatory. I mean that as a form of encouragement. These games are defined by their challenge and their adversity. Invasions are the pinnacle of that form. Don't dismiss them because you don't like PvP or because you just don't want to engage. You don't always know what you love or what you hate until you've exhausted every option. Be sincere and actually try to have fun with them. I want every player, especially players with hardline negative opinions of invasions, to see things from the other side. to know for themselves what it's like to go up against their peers in lopsided combat. Many people insist invaders have all sorts of advantages, but if you invade for yourself, you'll find just how varied the experience can be. For every host insisting they could never beat an invader, there's an invader insisting they could never win an invasion. I've made my whole channel dedicated to bridging the gap between these heated sides, and you can help me by seeing what it's really like for yourself. I have been bombarded on all sides by every opinion people can have about invasions, and as much as I love interacting with the community about something they are so passionate about, I find it tragic that so many players are denying themselves the experience. Elden Ring is not a perfect game. It is not always great for invasions. It is less than it could be, but it is still worth trying. Invasions are still worth trying. And for those of you who have tried invasions and loved or hated them, please leave a comment down below about your experience. I love discourse about these topics, but for this video I really want people to just gush about what they love or rant about what they hate in Elden Ring invasions. I have found it to be such a wild and varied experience where back to back I can have the best and worst matches. Absolute blowouts where I didn't stand a chance right next to drawn-out cat-and-mouse wars of attrition. So if you have anything worth sharing, please do so below. If you love everything about Elden Ring and invasions, let us rejoice together. And if you have nothing but negative feelings about Elden Ring invasions, let us commiserate together. We are all a part of the same game and the same struggle. That's it for this video. I wanted to break up the more analytical releases just to dabble in something a little lighter this week. Next week we'll probably be back to the Invasions and Fairness series, maybe I'll make a video detailing the build I mentioned before. If you have any suggestions for future videos or anything you want me to talk about, please feel free to leave a comment down below. And on a more personal note, this channel has been a pleasure so far to build and grow, and I really appreciate everyone who has encouraged me thus far. This is only the beginning, so if you want to be part of the journey, like this video and subscribe for more videos every week. Shadow of the Erdtree is right around the corner, and the anticipation is palpable. Thank you for watching.